Hello and welcome to week 4 of EDUC 407. By the time we finish this week, we'll be halfway done with the course. So let's kind of get into what you're going to have to do this week. And I have not updated grades. I was out with COVID for a week, so I was kind of down and out. But I will be updating grades this week. So make sure you check and your grade is updated probably by Wednesday of this week. If something happens and I didn't do something, let me know. If I make a mistake, I want to correct it for you. So just make sure you keep up to date with everything. Don't worry if anything hasn't been updated yet. I'm working on getting caught back up with everything. So let's look at this week. So we have 4 assignments that we're going to have to do this week. I know it says due 2/27. I forgot to change that date on there. But it'll be due the 18th of September. So your week 4 assignments this week, you will have some ISTE videos to watch. You'll have to make a bubble map, tree map, something to kind of coalesce some of these ideas together. You'll have a coding hyperdoc. If you don't know what a hyperdoc is, it's a document, a Google Doc with links that allows you to, hyperlinks to go look at stuff, and then you come back and then you can add things in. Then you're going to have a choice board assignment. I'll kind of describe that, plus have a video inside Blackboard, and then a Slack discussion. Okay, and if you're still getting caught up with anything previous, no stress. Again, I'm not worried if you're a little bit late on something, as long as you're getting it done. If you do need assistance, do not hesitate to contact me, and I can help you out. So let's get started. So the first thing is the ISTE videos. You'll create a double bubble thinking map or tree map to compare and contrast the ISTE standards for this week. So I put these pictures on the assignment. You can use them if you want. You can make however you want. But again, don't feel like you have to use those specific ones. Do whatever helps you kind of put things together and compare and contrast those different things. We'll look at those ISTE videos in just a few moments. The second thing you're going to do is a coding hyperdoc. So you're going to be looking at what we call 6 coding programs for students. These are programs that have links. You can look at the availability, the features, look at that stuff and see how it would be used in a classroom. Now, some stuff is going to be more elementary, some might be junior high, some might be high school. Think about how that would work for different types of students. Some provide a lot of benefits, some don't. So again, you want to look at those programs and you're going to compare things on the hyperdoc itself. And I'll kind of show that to you in just a little bit as well. The third assignment is what we call choice boards. So one of the things with a choice board is basically you're creating an assignment where the students get the choice on what they want to do. But it's got to be something electronic that you want them to do. So it's not just something where they do something on a piece of paper, do 10 problems, and that's it. So this is an example of a choice board. I've got 2 different videos for mean, median, and mode. One I found on the internet, which was a pretty funny frog video, and one that I've created myself. You might find 2 of them and put those there. You want them to do something where they have to watch something and then create something. So in this case, on the right-hand side, you'll see pick one activity to complete to show what you have learned about mean, median, and mode. So they can write a story on Google Docs and using mean, median, and mode. It has to be used as part of the story. So it encourages them to write. I mean, that's just one thing that you could do. If you want them to, if you have some people that are more literacy based, they like to write, they have fun with that, have them incorporate the math into it. That way you know that they know how to do it. Another one is Flipgrid. If you've ever heard of that, I think it's now called Flip now from now on. But basically they create a 30-second video and they can show using their webcam how they found mean, median, mode of that particular problem. So that means they have to actually use the technology to show it and explain it and look into it. There's a third one on the bottom left. Use Google Slides and create a how-to book. Okay, so again, it's a choice. Maybe they want to say, okay, I'm going to write up the instructions on a student's point of view on how to do it, and they make it in different slides. And then last would be creating a Google Forms quiz where students will have to solve problems with mean, median, mode. These are just some examples that I've come up with just as an example. You don't have to use Google Docs or Flipgrid or Google Slides or Google Forms, but you want to pick an activity that's electronic to show and give the students a choice on how they want to complete the assignment. So instead of doing 30 problems of mean, median, mode, which is typical in a math classroom, unfortunately, you give them this choice. You pick what you want to do, you do that, and you do it right, and that counts as the assignment instead of them having to do 30 problems. Okay, so definitely something. I will have a video and I'll show you in just a little bit on Blackboard what that's going to look like. And the last thing is you're going to have a Slack group discussion. Okay, so once you finish that coding hyperdoc, so you'll need to do that in the early part of the week if you can, you're going to meet with the same group you've had. So again, groups 1, 2, and 3. I'm not changing anything. It's still going to be in that same channel or hashtag, EDUC 407 group 3 or whatever it is. And you're going to discuss the 3 things. Which coding program was your favorite? How could you incorporate coding into a classroom? And what skills does coding teach students? Okay, you just have to kind of answer those questions in basically a chat format. So it's going to go underneath what you guys have already done for your digital citizenship policy. That way I can check and see, okay, did you guys discuss this? Did everybody participate? Did everybody respond? That type of thing, okay? So let's look into what it looks like in Blackboard itself. So let me get there. So again, here is week 4. Obviously, there's no video in there because I'm making it right now. But we'll go in the first one, the ISTE videos. Okay, so once I click on that, here's that double bubble map or tree map. So while you're watching the videos, complete a diagram. Again, these are there for a reference. You don't have to use them. If you do a different type of bubble map or however you brainstorm, use your whatever you want yourself, just as long as you do it. And again, make sure you're kind of comparing and contrasting what's happening in these videos. So we're going to talk about computational thinking for students. How can they compute things, not just math-wise, but just how can they think and coming up with the definitions of a problem in order to go to the next steps. Then you have data sets. Now, data is typically math, but could be used in science, could be used in social sciences. What could be used with data sets to help students think computationally? Then you want to watch this video on extracting key information, which is important for students to be able to do, not just to read and say, hey, what do I do now? But how can you get them to extract it? Then you have, for innovative designing a process for understanding how to solve a problem. Sometimes problems don't have an easy way of solving, and you have to design a process. And we want students to be more like that rather than be like, okay, this is the steps, that's it, I'm done. Not really thinking. Okay. Another one is open-ended problems. And then you have one here, effective research strategies. Again, a lot of times this can be more English-based or social sciences, but even in math or in science, researching effectively and correctly can make a huge difference. And then you have evaluating information, which I think is a very important critical thinking skill that all students should have. Curating information, figuring out what's truth, what's not truth, what could be slanted, understanding that stuff. And the last one right here, exploring real world issues. So there are a lot of videos to watch, and what you want to do is kind of see, okay, how does a computational thinking part and knowledge constructor part kind of go together? You want to kind of see what kind of overlaps, what are 2 different pieces, how could you incorporate that in the classroom, what would that look like? I want you to start thinking about these things, and these are for on the student side. Okay, so how would you want your students to be able to do these things? Sometimes a double bubble map like this will work. You might do a tree map where you might see pros and cons and so forth, but however you want to do it, it's up to you. But that's the first assignment. Our second assignment, coming back here, is the coding hyperdoc. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to open up this document. Let me see if it'll work for me. And it's going to come up with this. It's Coding Programs for Kids Hyperdoc. You're going to review each program, and you're going to complete the table. Now, the first thing you got to do is make a copy for yourself. So make sure you go to File and make a copy and save it into your Google Drive because you won't be able to type on the one that you click on until you make your copy, just so you know. And what you'll do is you'll put a summary there, a couple sentences, the grade levels or ages, pros and cons. It doesn't have to be super detailed, but you should be able to take about 10 minutes per program. Okay, and the programs are right here on the left-hand side. Okay, make sure you kind of look at those. If you run into any issues with links, let me know. But you take about 10 minutes, so about 60 minutes for the entire assignment once you start typing, and you can kind of look at it that way. And again, these are coding, so it's almost like computer programming for kids, and how kind of getting towards robotics. How does that help with critical thinking? Making sure that your things are running correctly and so forth. So definitely look at that. That's your second assignment. Let me get back to where we were at just a second ago. Okay, the third one is to create a choice board. Okay, so you're going to choose a grade level and a concept. Okay, it could be anything. It could be easy. It could be hard. It's up to you. But what you want to do is create a digital choice board with at least 4 choices of digital activities. Okay, so you saw the example that I put originally in the video. I have a presentation here to help you with that. Okay, watch that. Ask me for help. Make sure you when you make your choice board, you submit a link to it in the right submission box so I can see it. A lot of people like to do Google Slides for this so they can put things on there a lot easier. Again, you don't have to get flashy or anything like that. You don't have to worry about fonts being perfect. I just want you to create that, and as you get used to making those choices for students, then you'll make it however you want to personalize it later on down the line. But here, I just want you to get into that. Think about 4 digital things that a student can complete based upon the topic you pick. And then the last one, the Slack group discussion. Again, meeting with your same group. I know it says approximately 20 minutes, but just chat, whether it's throughout the week or something like that. I just need to make sure everyone participates, everyone answers the questions, and everybody responds to someone. Okay, so it shouldn't be just a one-way conversation. Respond to somebody's ideas and bounce ideas back and forth. Granted, I'm not worried about the 20 minutes. I'm not going to count time, but I do want to see that everybody's participating in it. If you do that, you're all set, because then that kind of takes what you learned from the coding HyperDoc itself, and now you're placing it into, okay, how would I use that, and bounce ideas off of each other. These are the 4 assignments you have to do. Reminder that I'm going to be grading everything probably tomorrow and Tuesday, so I should have grades totally updated by Wednesday for the first 3 weeks. If you do run into any issues, or if you see that your grade is not what it's supposed to be, please reach out to me. Let me know, and I will look into it. We can meet on Zoom. I can make sure everything's correct, because sometimes I make an error, and I will cop to that. So if I do make an error, I don't want your grade to suffer. Just make sure you let me know, and we'll be all set. I see that you guys are responding in Slack with a lot of the assignments, so keep up the good work. We're not meeting this week, so remember, we are not meeting in class this week, but we'll meet the next week in class, which I believe is like the 22nd or 23rd, but I'll make sure to share that. But this is the second week that we are not meeting in class. But if you do need assistance and you want to get on Zoom and we could talk this through, not a problem. Let me know. I'll set up a time that we could meet and chat, and then you'll be all set. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, I hope you guys have had a blessed week, and we'll have a blessed week this week. And hopefully everything goes all right for all of you guys. And if you do need any help, do not hesitate to ask.